I had a request to see a video on how I do some resin work. So today I'm going to do a cup, cute little cup similar to this. It's a quick and easy little project. So I've already mixed my resin because that takes about 3 to 5 minutes just to mix it, and that can seem like an awful long time on a video. So the resin's already mixed. I do a triple pot method for mixing, which means that I pour part A into one, part B into another, mix them well, and then pour them into a third container and mix it again for about 30 seconds. And this just helps to ensure that there aren't any little spots of uncured resin that would leave a sticky area. Okay, so I'm going to turn my little cup turner on. I've got the cup on there. I've already wiped the cup down with rubbing alcohol to remove any oil residue. And I'm just going to put the resin on. I don't want the resin to go all the way up to where your lips would go. I just want it on the main part of the cup. So you can go up as high as you'd like or keep it down low. I kind of like to do areas where it's a little higher and areas where it's a little lower. Once I've got that on there, try to make it covered on every part of the cup as well as I can. Looks like I have a bare spot here. And I'm putting it on the bottom of the cup too, because that'll show on our finished cup. Okay, I've got a little bit of resin, clear resin left over, which is exactly what I want, and I'm just going to get rid of a few of the bubbles with a torch. When you're getting rid of the bubbles, you don't want to scorch your resin. You just want to kiss the surface of it with the flame to help release those bubbles. Sometimes when those bubbles pop, it does leave a little bit of a bare spot depending on how big the bubble was. You do want to wear gloves when you're working with resin. Uncured resin is toxic. And alcohol inks are toxic as well. So I'm going to take off that glove. I double glove so that I can just slip one off. Now I'm going to start adding a bit of color. Well, no, I'm not, because more bubbles pop to the surface. Okay, I'm using Pinata color. This one is Baja Blue. And if it gets on the unresined portion of the cup, I don't worry about that at all. I just go back later with 91% rubbing alcohol and I can take that right off. And I just kind of randomly drop some color on. I've got Pinata color Rainforest Green. I want the color to mostly cover it, but I don't want I don't want so much color that that it makes it dark. I don't want it too dark. And now I'm just going to randomly, in some of the colored spots, place drops of white. This will all run together more as that resin moves. Alcohol inks are flammable. Yesterday I accidentally set my piece on fire, which some people do on purpose, and sometimes I do it on purpose, but yesterday was kind of an accident, so. Just gonna let this spin for a couple minutes. Well, not a couple minutes, but I'm gonna let it spin for a sec. And I'm going to add a little bit of resin in the areas that it looks really thin from the alcohol inks. Okay, now I'm going to play. This is the fun part. I'm just dabbing in spots. You don't want to overdo that part, because as I said, it will move more as this resin turns. And if you overdo that, it'll all just kind of run into one color. One thing that's kind of fun that I like to do is to put some clear on top of a solid color, and it will show up through that solid color. And create a design. When I get done playing here, I'll go ahead and hit it with a torch again, and then I'll let it spin for an hour or so, and then come back on the video and show you how it's changed. I'm going to hit it with a torch again. I try to stay back away from it a little bit. The fumes from that are irritating. And even though this resin that I use has low VOCs, it still does irritate my lungs quite a bit. Probably should wear a mask. Saw a blank spot in here. When it comes around again, I'm going to try to cover it up. I don't know if I missed it or not. So you can kind of see, I hope, how the colors are already changing and how it's all kind of running together. There's some little splooge in there. I don't know what that was. As I heat up this resin, it's going to start running together more. So I don't want to overheat it and cause it to just like run like crazy, but I do want it to not have little micro bubbles showing in it, because as those pop, as the resin starts to dry, it will leave a mark in the resin, and you'll be able to feel that and see it. I think I've got a bare spot there too. Okay, so I'm going to shut off the camera and I'll come back in a couple hours and we'll see where it's at and how it's done. Kind of like the way it looks so far. Okay, it's been just a little bit over an hour and you can kind of see now how it's going to look. We'll just leave this turning for about 6 hours until that resin sets up enough that it's not going to run off of the cup. And then we can shut it off and it'll be cured to the touch without damaging it after about 24 hours. And at that time I can remove any of the alcohol ink that might have gone up onto the glass, like right there. And that's how I do it.